Hello everyone, it's Richard Lewis here again with another video. Esports, it's the gift that keeps on giving. I say this very often at the start of my videos. There are some companies out there that just, keep me in content and material. And principally among them is, of course, ESEA. Now, full disclosure, this will be a blend of reportage and opinion. Hopefully you're smart enough to disseminate which one's which. But I'll just say at the start of the video, I've made it abundantly clear. I don't really like ESEA as a company. I have zero respect for them. I don't think they should be operational. I think the Bitcoin mining scandal, which is the greatest breach of consumer trust I've seen in esports, really should have been the end of them. I think they've got people internally within the company who are just not very nice human beings from a customer relations standpoint, and certainly they had one of the most flagrant abusers of their position within a company in the form of LP Kane. When they were bought by ESL, I was realistically hoping that ESL was going to gut the company and kind of change it and maybe even rebrand it, frankly. But that never happened. And here we are now. ESEA remains this strange, necessary evil, which I think most people accept that's what it is at this point. They've got a history as well. I mean, look, going back to Counter-Strike Source, which I know a lot of you guys didn't follow, they were involved in some questionable decisions, acts of favoritism, removing people from tournaments for things that happened in their hotel rooms and other such nonsense. If I ever wanted to do a comprehensive piece about all of ESEA's failings going back years, it would probably take me a year to actually research and record it all. I mean, they're a special company in a lot of ways. So you all know recently about the fact that there was a hack. What happened was a hacker found an exploit, a vulnerability on the ESEA database, and he attempted to extort money from them. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. He basically said, if you pay me $100,000 is the number that's now being touted, I will show you what the vulnerability is, and I will keep your customers' data safe. And obviously ESEA didn't comply with that, didn't pay that money, and the information, the data, was leaked. And there was a lot of accounts. I believe it was in the region of 1.5 million people affected by this. The information that went out were people's personal emails, phone numbers, date of birth, this kind of thing, and names. There would be enough there for hackers to socially engineer access to other things like email accounts and so on. And Sam, I think we got hit with lots of people tweeting at us, saying, look, people have tried to access my Hotmail or my Gmail and things like this. I mean, that's accurate, right, to say that? Yeah. This definitely gave me cause for concern. Now, the day we put out our video, by the time we'd sort of research checked everything and got everything we wanted to say down, they released at about, I think it was simultaneously with our video. It was just one of those unfortunate timings. They actually released an even further elaboration on the security update, which maybe corrected some of the speculation in the video. I'm not quite sure. I think we were pretty much on point. I don't think we speculated too much. But certainly we'll take a look at that just in the interests of putting out the full story. And this was put by Torbil, Craig Levine, obviously, the face, effectively, of ESEA now. And you can see here it says, further to our previous security update on December 30th, 2016, the stolen ESEA user data was published on leaked source on January 8, 2017. Please read the following update carefully. The security breach that we were made aware of on December 27, 2016 resulted in the theft of user data by a threat actor. This threat actor demanded a ransom payment and threatened to sell or publish the customer data. We do not give in to extortion or ransom demands, and we take the security of customers' data very seriously. In addition to investigating the incident, reporting it to the authorities, we've been working to isolate the vector attack and secure the vulnerability. This has led to some recent system downtime, for which we apologize, and which we aim to keep to a minimum in the coming days. Now, this is all very interesting because, of course, their initial standpoint, it took an external source reporting that they had been subject to an extortion attempt And they didn't really want to confirm it at first. And certainly when they first told people to change their passwords, they didn't say there's a chance that your data could be going out into the public domain. You might want to think about that. And you know, I called them out on that. And people go, no, but Richard, they mustn't do that. You mustn't tell people that, because then how could they fix the problem if the vulnerability was still going on? You're just announcing, you know, people go, right, fair enough, but definitely say there may have been a breach. Don't just tell people to change their passwords. Passwords weren't affected. That was my whole point. Or were they? We'll get into that in a second. But you can see here they outline the timeline, saying December 27th was the first contact. That's the first contact between the person who was attempting to extort them and ESEA. So we don't know when he found the vulnerability, how long he sat on the data for. We will never know that. They then say on the next day, we identified the vector and started to isolate that system, patched the vulnerability. By December 30th, with the vulnerability identified and patched, we continued the process to notify the community of the incident. We didn't tell the full truth, but which I consider responsible. But they did tell people that you would need a password reset 3 days after they'd been contacted. December 31st to January the 6th, they worked around the clock to strengthen up security. During this period, we received several more emails from the threat actor escalating threats and demands, but we just focused on our ongoing security efforts. So this chap contacted them a number of times during this period while they were trying to shore up security. And then on January the 7th, through information obtained from our game server infrastructure database, the threat actor was able to gain access to a game server. With that game server's restrictive access, the threat actor was able to edit karma. Now, we talked about this, Sam, didn't we, where everyone's karma was changed to -1337, minus leaked. That's obviously a joke. That was obviously a saying, you know, because of the significance of the 1337 number within gaming culture. And we said in the video, you know, that they were denying there was any link initially, right? And we said, how is this a coincidence? You know, coincidences like this don't happen. Lo and behold, they have to come out and admit, guess what? ESEA told some more little porkies, more little porky pies. And that is that, the threat actor, the same guy, the same hacker, also was able to gain access to a game server and edit karma, but was not able to view or modify any personal information, so they say. Several pieces of intellectual property that was stored in our game servers were exfiltrated from the compromised game server. This is how we operate our game servers and not associated with user data. In order to further secure the game servers, we moved up planned maintenance and security updates for our infrastructure. We were able to verify that no personal identifying information had been compromised from this incident. Well, again, apologies if we don't believe you. I certainly wouldn't at this point, because you flip-flopped. Once you say, nah, it's not that, yeah, go on then, it was that. It's very hard to believe anything you say moving forward. The karma was restored while we performed other updates to the ESEA network, which resulted in server outages. Now on January the 8th, that's the day of truth. That's when the stolen data went to leaked source. And again, we have multiple people message us saying, look, it's legit. We put an email in. I think you did yours, didn't you, Sam? And you were on there, right?
Been wrecked.
Yeah, you've been wrecked. Have you noticed any strange activity on any of your accounts or anything?
Luckily,
honestly,
no, because I'm but I'm overly enthusiastic and stuff like that because of the stuff we do. Whereas if I was just a normal person, I probably would have been. Like, I have two-step and everything. I have different passwords. Blah blah blah.
Okay. So we updated the external authorities, which were the FBI, responded to media and community inquiries, and posted this update on January the 9th. So there is this, gap. And they answer a few questions at the end saying why they wouldn't give in to the ransom demand. And then they say, was the system downtime over the weekend due to further hacking intrusion? And they're saying, yeah, only in so much as we were updating our security. As reported, was more than 90 lines of user information stolen. We disclosed the personally identifiable information in our announcement to the community on December 30th, which includes usernames, emails, private messages, IPs, mobile phone numbers for SMS messages. forum posts, hash passwords, and hashed secret question answers. All ESEA user account passwords are stored using bcrypt, an industry best practice for securing passwords. ESEA does not store any sensitive payment information, so any payments made in the ESA website would not have been compromised. So they say all of that, and then I suppose I'll add this as well. In additional optional fields of data for user profiles that make up a large percent of the data stolen. So ESEA users can enter further information to complete their publicly viewable profile page, and this would include, favorite drink, favorite food, favorite esports player, computer hardware specifications, Xbox gamer tag, PlayStation Network ID, and that sort of thing. Now, obviously, again, that doesn't sound very important in isolation. All of that information, though, can certainly be used towards social engineering, and certainly can be used to identify specific people. If for any reason there was you'd used a throwaway email to sign up, maybe I get you through your Xbox gamer tag, and now I can harass you, or whatever. So it's still problematic. Any leak of personal data is an issue. Now, they strongly maintain throughout that their passwords, the passwords themselves, had not been compromised. And this is interesting situation. I archived this on the day that I saw it. Sorry, Sam, this is a surprise for you. I'm throwing you a curveball, mate. I forgot about this. But I archived this the day that I saw it. And this was on the 10th of January, so the day after their announcement. And this was a chap who went on the CSGO subreddit. And naturally, the CSGO subreddit deleted it. But he said, I just got the Steam Guard code mail from Steam. Someone attempted to log in and had the correct username and password. Surprise, surprise, it's the exact same password I had in ESEA, and no one in the world could potentially know that password. This makes me wonder if ESEA even encrypted it, since mine consisted of 8 digits, upper lowercase text, and numbers. So anyone who still uses the ESEA password anywhere, definitely change it now. Thanks, ESEA. And then people were replying and saying, look, they're using bcrypt. There's no way these passwords got out. So you're just being ridiculous. And even a moderator in there who I've got respect for, Sidipi, he says it's very likely that if you reuse this password from elsewhere, then another service had been broken into. So keep that in mind. Somebody says this is false. The passwords are hashed and salted, so the chances are is they're unrecoverable. And again, this user is adamant and saying, that simply can't be the case. And he edited his thread before it was deleted, saying, stop saying it was probably leaked somewhere else. No, it has not been leaked elsewhere. This email does not show up as leaked anywhere else except ESEA. He's obviously used the haveibeenpwned.com and leakedsource.com as the websites to check. And he says, that's the first thing I checked. I do know a bit about how to internet and have different passwords for different use cases. But of course, that doesn't explain how his Steam account had the same password. I mean, that doesn't sound like you do take a lot of care, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. So this got quickly deleted, and I was obviously on high alert, as I am, whenever there's something like this. And this made me really curious. So I was keeping an eye out because, other users might be coming forward. Now, what I didn't expect was that my good friend Sponge, the former in-game leader of Renegades, a veteran Counter-Strike player, someone who obviously uses ESEA regularly, and he said he'd been hacked, and he said they must have gotten the passwords from ESEA because his password had been changed. And you can see here, Yi Lamau, the legendary director of WikiLeaks, the CSGO division at least, says that means they got access to your email, because you can see what Sponge brought up here was, look, lost password. This is what happens. Lost password, verify email, password changed. So there's something to this, because this has all happened in the aftermath of an ESEA leak. And I think, if I remember rightly, I think some people from ESEA did reach out to Sponge, like, no, it definitely ain't. Definitely ain't us. But he is not alone. You can see. Just look at some of the replies to this. Look at some of the replies. I'll scroll right down to the bottom and go up. And someone linked an article here saying Bcrypt passwords are secure, but they're definitely not 100% secure. And they say we also just have ESEA's words that the passwords were hashed, which, as we know from past transgressions, ESEA's word means less and less by the day. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying it's hard to trust people who have lied about incredibly important breaches of trust in the past, and not just lied once, serially lied in a bid to cover it up, even to the point where these lies have been discussed and torn apart in a court of law. You can see here, someone else said, I got an email from my bank asking me to confirm my information this morning. Right? I mean, again, someone who'd been a victim from the ESEA leaks. So seems a bit odd that this is happening in the aftermath. Now, sure, maybe Sponge is mistaken and they didn't have access to the passwords, but it makes me wonder if all of the passwords were 100% secure. And obviously, as a result of all of this, so actually, this is interesting as well. Someone called Deoxide said, whether it was bcrypted or not, my ESEA password was sent to me in a DM. So I knew to change. I saw that one. Yeah, it mustn't be too hard. So I'm just saying, they can say there's no passwords being leaked, that the passwords are bcrypted. But there's anecdotal evidence that contradicts this. And it's from people I respect. Sponge isn't an idiot. He might not be a fucking tech expert and guru or a hacker or whatever you would need to be, but very interesting. And like I say, there's others. There's been other, lesser known players. There've been other people cropping up on Reddit, and it gets deleted. People have tweeted at us that it's been compromised. So there's something in it. Now, how do you react to all of this? Well, certainly, if I was ESEA, I think. Again, tell me if I'm wrong, Sam. I think what they could have done is rolled out just some compensation to those affected. Mm-hmm. Something, right? Specifically targeting people who may have been affected by this leak. I think a little apology just doesn't cut it for me. This is a big breach. And given past issues that they've had, I think they should be giving something to their user base. Instead, what did ESEA do? Well, they went on an offensive to give away ESEA codes. Now, if you don't know what the ESEA codes are, you basically get them. You get an ESEA. You get 1 month of ESEA Premium, right? And these are used primarily to draw in people who haven't used it before. You get it for free. You like it, and you decide to stick around. So this isn't a compensatory measure, all right? This is, we've had a lot of cancellations. So let's reel in some new fucking fish. What a disgusting way to think about it, right? People are boycotting us now because of all the fuck-ups we've done. Nah, don't worry. We'll go on a mass offensive. And when I say a mass offensive, let me go through them all. And again, Sam, try and keep up if you can. And so, some of the dates are off, but the key thing here is these are all after the hack. So obviously Dazed, very popular streamer, they gave him some ESEA codes to give away. He didn't even seem to know about it. He was like, apparently I have some ESEA codes, and I got a few more. You can see ESEA here. This is on the 29th of December. So after they knew that they'd been hacked, they were, again, doing some free little ESEA premium things. The shitstorm's coming. So they were encouraging new people to come in before they had to announce, by the way, change your password.
And before they even fixed it.
Yeah.
This is before they patched it. So that means when you sign up, you are actively giving your data over. This is, please come and give this hacker your details.
So they said, by their own admission, they told people on the 30th to change it. And by their own timeline, it wasn't even resolved yet. Yet they were giving out. So they know about it, and they're doing giveaways. And of course, after that, look, all through January, Pimp, he's giving them out. Another popular streamer. Everyone loves Pimp. He's a character. Mr. Tweeday, Kevin Tweedale. From fair enough, they do have a regular deal with him, but just loads ESEA codes pumped out, code after code after code after code. Uber CSGO, ESEA premium codes on screen. Going live and giving away some ESEA premium codes. Uses y'all got any more of them ESEA codes? Adrian. Every new sub gets a special sand dune and an ESEA code. And Adrian's a popular streamer, rightly so, new subs getting that. That's a big deal. So their response was ridiculous. First of all, they're giving out codes before the vulnerability is even fixed, right? And before they've even announced that people might need to change passwords. Yeah, this is great. Love having a bit of ESEA premium. Hey, I'm new to this, but I'm going to check it out. Yeah, first thing you got to do, change your fucking password. Yeah, okay. Is this normal? Then just the idea of we will combat any drop off through a long sustained offensive of giving out free premium, rather than compensating users who maybe even used premium. I would have rolled something out okay, everyone who had premium at the time of the hack gets another month of premium for free or something like that. Just a token gesture. They didn't do it. So fuck them. Just ridiculously poorly handled again from ESEA. Now, there was some other bits and pieces that we wanted to go into, and we weren't really sure how we were going to fit all of this in. So we just thought, fuck it, we'll just make an anti-ESEA video. That's the thought process. They do a bunch of fuck. It was we got all these news stories. What do you want to do? Do a video, call it fuck ESEA? Yep, sounds good, right? So we decided to do that. So let's have a look at the ESEA. Now, you probably saw this Reddit thread. This was about the Premier Bias, ESEA Premier Bias, ? And it was created by somebody called SEO. Now, I've known SEO a long time. He's a good kid. He's a talented CS player, a talented League of Legends player. He's he's played both to a high level in the UK, which obviously isn't saying much on a world scheme, right? On a world scene, but he's still fucking good, and he's a good kid. So he created this thread, and I completely vouch for him. He's not a fucking liar. He's not a drama queen. And this was to basically say that their team Endpoint, which includes actually, people that I know going way back. Immy, the fucking legend.
Huds G.
Yeah, and Huds G, of course, who was a former CGS player, played for MTW's international team, was undoubtedly one of the most decorated and talented UK Counter-Strike players we ever produced. So he's in that team. And they were in the ESEA Premier last season. They finished 18th, and they had a record of 5-11. And, they've been battling away, since season 18. Slow record of improvement, roster changes. They brought in a couple of young kids. And if you take a look at the standings for the season they've just done, you can see where they are. There's Team Endpoint.
18th.
They're above. They're 18th. They're above Fragsport, eSuber, Archangels, G-Grab, MK Sports, and Noxukau or something, however you pronounce it. And obviously, these aren't great teams, but they played in a league with teams you will have heard of, the Gambit, Ents, Attacks, God Center in there, Roger in there, Space Soldiers. So they're in that kind of bracket. They're in that kind of tier. And people have often said to me, when is the UK going to get a team? This is as good as it gets in the UK for Counter-Strike right now. Might not be saying much, but this is what it is. This is a team that's at least managed to stay together without bickering and disintegrating. So there was a bunch of teams who had forfeited all of their remaining fixtures in the league, and they'd all exceeded the limit given and had defaulted 4 or more games. So that means they get relegated, because one of the things that the ESEA League has always tried to promote is stability and professionalism. Understand your obligations when you enter a league. If you bow out and default all your games because you can't be asked or because you can't keep a team together, you do not belong in a league of this stature. That is the whole point. So based on the fact they had been told all of those teams are going to get relegated, which was Noxukau, MK Esports, Archangels, and indeed Gambit, who were above them but had forfeited their remaining fixtures, they were like, shit, we've done it. We're in. So they went out and they paid the entry fees to remain in the league, which is $40 per player, $39.95. And, got all of their ESEA profiles and everything updated. And then when they went to have a look at their team page, boom, they've been relegated. They're in ESEA main. How the fuck's that happened? How's that happened?
And, the way they found out was that their owner just went, yeah, by the way, lads, ESEA just sent my money back, so you might want to go check your profile.
So they just get a refund. There's no big deal about this. And, they've actually relegated a total of 8 teams from the league after saying it would be 4 to 6, or rather 4 or 6. It's got to be an even number at the start of the season. And the rule states move-ups and move-downs for the Premier Division are done based on admin discretion. And you know what that means, right? What is the point?
Fuck we want.
Yeah, do what we want. What is the point in having a competitive system if a discretionary decision by the admin can just be like, yeah, you deserve to stay in the league, but actually, we've given it some thought, and yeah, fuck you.
We'd actually rather invite Gambit back because people like that more.
We'd rather have our mates in. Well, there you go, Sam. You ruined the big twist. So even though Gambit Gaming, and look, Gambit Gaming are a fastly improving team. I mean, they've really impressed me since the acquisition of Hobbit. I got a lot of respect for what Gambit are doing. They've had some great runs in tournaments lately. Very interested to see what they're going to do moving forward. So they are a valuable team and a team that should be in decent leagues, right, and ladders. But they broke the rules. They broke the rules, and what they're doing is, even though Gambit Gaming should be relegated based on the rules that everyone else has had to adhere to, they are going to be back in the league at the expense of Team Endpoint. Right? So that's pretty fucking crazy. And you can see there's a screenshot of an admin explaining it, saying Gambit will be added back. One of their guys joined another team, so it doesn't let us add them without breaking, since you can't be on 2 teams. One other team will be added from a lower division, but that's not official yet. We're waiting for a news post about it. So what this even means is the huge impact that this has on the lower tier structure of their league is that now fewer teams can get moved up, just again to accommodate Gambit, the big name. So only 1 team now can come up. So all the other teams that have worked, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck competitive integrity. Fuck a meritocracy. Let's just go on brand, shall we?
And, this has been alleged. Like, keep in mind, ESEA, I lay all of it at their doorstep because I know how it works. And that is that, yes, ESEL own it. ESEL have some input into it. But certainly the decisions are taken by a different team to those that make decisions in ESEL Europe. But we all know as well that when it came to Virtus Pro, also a WESA team and everything else, and of course just a big draw because they're one of the best teams in the world, we know that, ESEL did try their goddamnedest to keep them in and started. We know that happened. I mean, I think, honestly, in a year, they'll probably just come out and admit, yeah, all right, yeah, kind of we did it. Because, it makes sense from a business perspective. But the point is, this is meant to be about competition. You wouldn't imagine the Premier League if Man United got, well, maybe that's a bad example. Maybe they would because they're corrupt as fuck. But, maybe if Man United got relegated, they wouldn't turn around and go, oh, we've decided now to implement a playoff system to see if Man United really do get relegated. Who are they playing? Some dog shit team.
It'd just be like last year when Bournemouth barely survived, and then 60th, they're just like, actually, we're just going to kick you out. Sorry, mate. Just going to boot you out anyway. Peace.
Fuck out, docking you some points.
Hope you like Championship, kid.
So, so they've really got to come out and publicly fucking address this, because this is a terrible message to send out to teams in the lower divisions. That if you work hard and stay with us and stick to the rules and meet your games and honor your commitments and don't forfeit, we will relegate you to accommodate a bigger named team with bigger named players who did break the rules, because it's better for business. That is an awful, awful message to send out. It's got no place in esports. And I can't think of anything that would be more disheartening for up-and-coming teams than the fact that you feel not only are you up against the difficulty of having to improve against teams that maybe have more experience than you, you've got to close that gap. On top of that, you could close that gap and just get kicked out the league on an admin decision anyway. So I'm very eagerly waiting to see what clarification ESEA come out and say. In fact, didn't a few
admins were just shoving off like, yeah, that's fine. That's what we've done. That's fine. As you can see, it says we're allowed to. Oh, that's fine then.
I'm pretty sure he was. He did reply to this. Let's have.
He's also laughing about it on Twitter. Yeah, give me 1 sec.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, bring that up for me.
What's the name of the admin? Is it Fell Owns?
Few Owns, because his name is Few.
Owns.
He added Owns at the end. Yeah. So his Reddit histories here. I don't really follow a lot of his Twitter.
Well, here's one of the tweets he just said, which is always good.
Let's have a look at this one. I think I found my favorite Reddit post ever made about me. And what does it say? ESEA takes direction from ESL, who takes direction from MTG. Few Owns is the press secretary who at best handles internal problems with the ESEA. These types of decisions aren't in his pay grade. For this is a 30-second conversation based on Team Oak branding powered by ESL and MTG. I mean, I don't know why that'd be your favorite tweet. It barely mentions you at all, other than to say
I can't find any.
Pretty. I mean, yeah, you're a product manager. Don't tell me there isn't a grown-up holding your hand, Brett. Don't tell me you have complete autonomy in the business of ESEA. I mean, because you don't, right? That would be what we call in the business a lie. So, but
classic ESEA lies.
Yeah, well, why not, right? And you can see he justifies it. He says Gambit was 8-8 and Endpoint was 5-11. Doesn't matter.
Here we go. Here's the response. So the response he's going with is apparently when the admin said they're gonna remove 6, that was just a kind of number.
I see that here. They had a conversation. The team that asked for a target number, they were told 6. A target number is not a concrete number, only an estimate. Unfortunately, they presented it in a way that tried to make ESEA look bad in order to rally support. Why give the number 6? Yeah, I mean,
what? That is not how a league works, bruh. That's not how. I like how he's done that as if that's the old work me onto that one. That'll sort that out. Everyone will agree with me now. No, mate, that's not how it works.
It's fucking crazy, dude. It's I'm just reading all of his replies here. It's like
the other one was like we believe there was more competitive teams.
Yeah, look at this. The simple answer here is that they are a top team in the world. They aren't in Pro League right now and are invited to Premier to compete. Yes, they forfeited 4 matches last season, but we were made aware of it happening, and it was the end of the season. Yes, them forfeiting is not perfect and something we do not like, but they also had other events they had to play in, and being eliminated from the playoffs, they chose to make it a priority. If that were to happen again this season, they likely won't be invited back. So in other words, we have these rules, and teams can break the rules if they're a big enough team.
Don't do it twice, though, because I'll be mad.
So now you've even set precedent for any team that enters. Any big team can now fuck your league. Oh, God. ESEA. Right. Just get to end the video. Message, right? ESEL. I know you've got competent people. Can you send some of them to America and sort this out? Please? Because it's beyond a fucking joke now, isn't it? You can't let the kids run it. Get a fucking grown-up out there. Get this shit fixed.
Get them a carer.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Someone has got to fucking step up because this is a joke. Anyone can see that's a joke. I don't even have any dog in the fight. I'm talking about this objectively, even though I didn't think ESEA was a fucking reprehensible company. That's just wrong, isn't it? It's literally wrong. You are admitting you are bending the rules to accommodate a bigger team. You have admitted that. That is the best you could come up with. You sat around, scratched your head and said, should we just admit we're being pieces of shit? Yeah, go on then.
Yeah.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Like, I don't understand it, dude. I don't understand it, man.
The best part is when he's being smug as if people are going to agree with him.
Yeah.
That straight.
appear to have been downvoted into oblivion. Maybe I didn't read the temperature in the room, you know? Isn't it? So honestly, guys, like ESEA, I keep saying it to you guys. If you support competitive integrity, don't give money to ESEA. If you support user data being handled in responsible ways, don't give money to ESEA. If you don't want a company that mocks the disabled to promote their products, don't give money to ESEA. If you don't want a company that is going to mysteriously turn its client into a Bitcoin, a piece of malware, without telling you and use you for personal profit, do not give money to ESEA. What do they need to do to get you guys to realize that you need to go and support other services? Because I know a ton of people who would love to move in to the fucking market and take their market share. And trust me, when it comes, you all better jump, because I'm getting tired. I'm banging my head against.
Nice people. Face it, good guys. There we go. Look, nice service.
Face it. Get over there. Until we make a video explaining why Face it. Go support them.
This is ridiculous. Sponsorship with Face it. That'll be good.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, so there you have it. ESEA, what a fucking shit show. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope they're going to fix this. Actually, we will give you an update with what happens with Team Endpoint. Hopefully, they're going to try and accommodate them and make this right in some way. I mean, the only way it should be made right is Gambit should be held accountable for the decisions they've made, and they should have to live with those decisions. But we'll wait and see. Business always gets in the way of common sense. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching this video. Lots of fun to talk about ESEA, and take care until we see you on the next one. Ta-ta.